We're at Rock 103.9 The Bear. I am Tommy, and hanging out with the brand new singer of Apocalyptica, Frankie Perez. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, Tommy. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing really good, man. Now, you guys got a brand new album, Shadowmaker. Tell me a little bit about the making of this record, and we're going to get to how you got in this band in a moment.
Yeah. So, Shadowmaker, we made it in Franklin, Tennessee with an amazing rock producer, Nick Raskalenik. The band, before I joined the band, they had a clear vision of what they wanted to do with this album. So when I got in, they had about 90% of the record written. I was able to co-write a couple songs, but then the band was really respectful of what I had to bring to the table, and they let me come in and add my input. And it's definitely a collaborative effort. It's a band record.
Well, for those who don't know, Apocalyptica, they're from Helsinki, Finland. Now, Frankie, obviously you don't have the accent that Mikko and the guys have, but where are you from?
We couldn't be further apart, man. I'm born and raised in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a culture clash, but for some reason it works out. It's crazy, but it works out great.
Now, I got to ask you, being from Vegas, when you go other places, is it absolutely boring? I mean, you come from a city that never sleeps. You go travel and you're on the road. Not every town is a big town, you know? And so, like, dang, do you ever just get bored, or is it maybe a break?
You know, it's a little bit of a break, but I mean, I was born and raised there, man. It's like, you have to adapt to the fact that you can't get anything you want 24 hours a day, because in Vegas, man, you can wake up and get anything, literally anything you want at all hours of the night.
Even Easter Sunday, kids. Anyway, so, you know, you're from Vegas, they're from Finland. How do you guys wind up connecting?
So, you know, the band on all previous albums, they've had guest singers. I think one of the things from what the guys have said is that it's been tough for them to carve an identity as a band. You know what I mean? As a single band. It's usually Apocalyptica featuring somebody. So this time around, they wanted to, from what they've told me, what I've heard them say in interviews, they wanted to carve out their thing, their identity. So the way it came about was they put out feelers around the industry, LA, New York, major cities, and people they knew in the industry, and that they were looking for a singer. It came across one of my buddy's desks, and he's like, dude, this could be a long shot, but let's see what happens. They sent me Corey Taylor's track, I'm Not Jesus.
Yeah.
I sung that, sent it in, and here we are a year later, man. We're touring the world, and we made a killer record.
Well, it's got to be cool, too. You're covering the work of Adam Gontier from 3 Days, or formerly of 3 Days Grace, Corey Taylor, plus you're in this great band. And let's go back to Nick Raskalenik. I actually know Nick from back in the band days. He used to be in a band called Hyper Tribe a long time ago. Awesome. And I know he moved back out to Tennessee because his family's over in Knoxville. Yeah. But, you know, tell me, working with Nick, you know, I know he's worked with the Foo Fighters, Alice in Chains, but, you know, Apocalyptica is a different thing with the cellos and stuff, you know? So tell me about that experience working with Nick, because he's into it. He loves it, man.
Oh, yeah, man. You know, that's it's cool because I've actually known Nick for years. I was in Velvet Revolver for a second before Slash went on the road with his own band. So there was a time when Nick was going to actually make the next Velvet Revolver record.
Because he did that Set Me Free, and you guys did like a Pink Floyd cover or something like that?
Right, yeah, that was still with Scott. So he and I were familiar with each other, but we never had the opportunity to work together. Nick is an amazing producer because, first and foremost, he's a fan of rock and roll, which you know.
Absolutely.
I mean, the guy literally mid-session will, like, time to take a break, and you would think he'd want an ear break, but he'll go rock some Rush for an hour. You know what I mean? So he was just such a great fan of music. He's like a cheerleader in there, man. And to him, the whole thing was, we'd work out the arrangements of the songs. All the production was pretty much done in pre-production, and his job was to capture great performances. And that's what he did. He sat in the room with us, man, like while we were tracking, pumping you up, and it comes across on the record.
He's a great musician too, so he has input that's very valuable, you know. And so I'm really excited. We're really excited to hear the whole album. I've heard the one single, and then, you know, I'm looking forward to hearing the record because it's a different recording for him. I mean, he's recorded all kinds of different bands, but I know he's about tones, and he's a good player. So if he's got an idea, it's usually pretty solid.
Oh yeah, man. He's and that's, you said it, man. He's all about tones. Like, his records sound amazing.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, you know, he's such a great player. He's the greatest air drummer I've ever seen. I mean, I'm dead serious. Like, the dude hits every note, every accent. It's amazing.
Well, I remember before he even made it, he was recording out of his mom's garage, and I goes, you know, Nick, this is way back before people really were programming drums. I goes, you can program drums as good as any drummer can play. I goes, you live a couple hours from Nashville. What are you doing? Because we were staying at his house when we were in Nashville back in the day, mastering his CDs. So but anyways, it's really great that he's doing it. But I'm really excited about hearing the full record. Now, you said the band allowed you some input. You know, that's a pretty big step. You know, usually these bands, when you're the new guy, how does that work out?
You know, I think they'd known a lot of my previous work, and we hit it off right from the get-go. And they could tell, they did their research. It wasn't like a quick, you know what I mean, like a quick, this is the guy. So, and I've done a lot of work songwriting, and I've produced records. So I think coming in, they were very, very generous with and open to the idea that I might have something to offer. And me with them, I was like, dude, I'm here to make this the greatest record. This isn't a Frankie record. This is an apocalyptic album. What do I got to do to make this the best apocalyptic album possible? And we did. I think.
Well, you guys, you sound excited. I'm looking forward to seeing the band. I know you guys will be up in Grand Rapids. That's kind of close to South Bend. And I think you were in Chicago recently, weren't you?
Yeah. Actually, we just played Chicago. We played the Vic Theater in Chicago. Yeah, great theater.
Good times. Well, hey, Frankie Perez, the new guy in Apocalyptica. He's going to be around a long time. And get the new record. Go see these guys. I'm Tommy. It's your Rock 103.9 The Bear.